Ad Astra Abscissos, Yokoso, to Traversing the Lands of Teva. I am Ray.
And I am Z.
Are you too lazy to read those notices?
Do you need ideas on what to do in Genshin Impact?
Or perhaps you want to be refreshed on the ongoing events in the game?
Then you have come to the right place, my friend.
Roll the intro! Another wind blessed day has been brought upon us. Welcome to our podcast.
Have you completed your daily commissions?
It is important that you do those for the sweet, sweet Primogems. Venti provides the wind.
Zhongli brings the order.
We bring you the notices. Disclaimer to our listeners. This episode of our podcast will cover the events in the second half of Genshin Impact version 1.6. The main content will revolve around the notices that you may have missed in that in-game window. Be informed that not all notices and updates are detailed in this episode. This episode does not cover character optimizations nor tips on improving your gameplay. However, you are encouraged to comment your suggestions for future episodes to discuss such areas of the game.
We get the backbone of our discussion from MiHoYo's Genshin Impact website as well as the in-game notices and event details. External sources include Gotcha Gamer from YouTube, as well as the media outlets such as Sportskeeda, GameWith.net, Game8.co, and the Genshin Impact Wikipedia site.
Also, we do not discuss every single item from the notices page, nor the forum page in the said sources. So we select the most relevant items to travelers.
Genshin Impact version 1.6 brings more things to do as MiHoYo prepares the release of Inazuma, which we had already seen in previews shown in the broadcast announcements for version 1.5 and the current version.
As with any version of Genshin Impact, we are flooded with quests on the Midsummer Island as well as its underlying challenges. Though these initial challenges is taking their departure, we are to expect a lot more as the second half of the version 1.6 rolls around this week. If you are listening to this podcast after the version 1.6, know that this was recorded in the last days of June 2021.
To recap the due challenges, we have Make Cannon, Make Ready, Fire,
Whirlpool off to starboard, full speed ahead.
Samurai Sighted, To Arms,
Harpastum bombs loaded, blow him away. On the other hand, the ongoing events in version 1.6 include the Legend of the Vagabond Sword, in which most of the challenges have already opened. This resembles the Hypostatic Symphony and the Twisted Domain events. Now it is called the Legend of the Vagabond Sword. Currently, there are three main enemies that you will encounter in the event. The first is a Primo Geo Bishop that can change its elements on the fly. Second is Oceanid, reminiscent of Rhodea's Rage. Identical mechanics with water splashes and cannons. And lastly is the samurai that we have encountered during the quest in the Midsummer Island adventure. And then one of the ongoing events as well, if you haven't started it yet, is the Archon quest, the new Archon quest involving Kaedehara Kazuha, the new character and the ongoing banner right now.
There are also several upcoming events for this version. Please note that these information are only coded from the Genshin Impact Midsummer Island Adventure website. First, we have the event called Never Ending Battle. During this event, travelers can take part in challenges all over the islands. Defeat the enemies within the time limit and earn points. By reaching the target scores, travelers can obtain rewards such as Primo Gems, Talent Level Up Materials, Hero Suite, and more. The next one we have is named Kaboom Ball Combat. During this event, travelers can challenge the Dodo Fortress and obtain Enigma Gears. You can redeem Enigma Gears in the event shop for rewards such as Primo Gems, a new name card style, and a few XP materials. If you ever skip Klee and you are one of the many travelers anticipating Kazuha, then you should not wait any longer as his banner is bound right now, and just like any banner, his will last for 3 weeks.
We know you skip those in-game notices board just to clear the unread. Note that these parts of the notices may be gone when you check them. There are other important notices that we are not able to deliver because they have been overwritten by newer notices in-game. We compiled from different notices tab in the game and found these points significant. First, that you should know is there is already a fair use statement that gives a legal basis on certain aspects of your stay in Tevat. One important thing to note from this is Mihoyo's advisory to players not to share their property, including their UID.
Of course, due to the nature of the game being network dependent, it is difficult to localize the modding of the game, and as such, they are also advising against the use of tools that may affect the fairness of the game.
Lastly, Mihoyo also says that players are forbidden from topping up from non-official channels. Just know that Mihoyo said they reserve the right to the final interpretation of these rules.
There is now an official top up center in the form of a website. It used to be that the mainstream way of payment was in game.
Of course, there are the version 1.6 update details. We will not detail those anymore. What you should know though is that Mihoyo made a cute website that compiles their tips and details on the ongoing events in the Golden Apple Archipelago. It is always nice to see this kind of effort as to reduce the clutter and confusion inside the game. Also, an ongoing web event which highlights Kazuha is also seen in the in-game notices.
There are several issues pointed in the update summary, including a glitch that involves the Yono shield not resetting its base damage absorption. As of recording this podcast, there has been no fix. Speaking of shields, it was also mentioned that the first shield made by Abyss Mages, large cryo slimes, and large geo slimes may be incorrect.
How incorrect? They did not specify. There is also an issue where casting elemental bursts simultaneously, then switching characters, while there are sprinting, that's a very specific way to do it, may cause errors in the burst. Mihoyo said that they found the cause of this error and they are going to fix it in the next version of the game. There are a couple more, but we will not dive into them anymore.
We're glad you're still here. So, here are a few key takeaways for this episode. The event only location named the Golden Apple Archipelago is still open. Feel free to explore and enjoy it while it lasts. There are so many chests in that archipelago, yet so little time to collect it all. So you better make sure to find everything you need before it disappears. We say goodbye to Klee's banner as we now make way for the new Inazuman character, Keidehara Kazuha. We have 2 ongoing and 2 upcoming events for this version, so it will be great if you start preparing for these events and claim your rewards in time. Plus, you do not have to worry anymore as there will be a few issues that will be fixed by MiHoYo in the next version.
That's everything you need to know for the version 1.6 so far. Thank you so much for listening to our podcast. please consider subscribing for more content. Your journey in Tevat is wonderfully unique in a way that tailors experience, and yet, when you think about it, here we are sharing something in common. Stay safe and continue onwards in your pursuit of traveling.